Hi, everybody. Hey, so I am just getting on here today because I realized there is a lot going on, and I'm finding it difficult to just kind of get out in the newsletter and to make it make sense. And so I thought I'd just get on here and kind of catch you up on what's been happening and make sure that you're aware in case any of it is something that you want to be a part of, because there is nothing more disappointing than having something get underway and then find out too late that it was there for you and you might have been able to be a part of it. So, with that in mind, I'm just going to kind of walk you through some things. It's been a wonderful year so far. We're in 2026. You might be watching this late as a replay, but some of this is going to be relevant no matter when you're watching it. So, my name is Leslie Householder. This is the Rare Faith channel, co founder of the School of Life Mastery, author of The Jackrabbit Factor, Hidden Treasures, Heaven's Astonishing Help with Your Money Matters, Portal to Genius, and I'm also working on a new book on rare faith itself. So, that said, coming up, I'm going to be starting a new group. So, I run this program called Founders Odyssey, and it's an ongoing series where we go through together all of the core courses in the School of Life Mastery. There's different ways that you can take those courses in and different reasons for doing so, but let me just share my screen for a minute here. If you have taken any of our classes, you know that inside your school, you've got these courses. There's Rare Faith Foundations. These numbers up here just correspond to the recommended order of taking classes. I'm going to show you kind of the big overview. Actually, let me do that now. So the Rare Faith Learning Path has a series of courses that address different aspects of the principles of rare faith. Rare faith is the kind of faith that causes things to happen. It was named for a quote by Boyd K. Packer, who said many years ago, and I'm just going to summarize, where he said there are two kinds of faith. There's the kind of faith that operates ordinarily in our daily lives. It's the kind of faith that we relate ourselves to things that are scheduled to happen. It's how we have confidence that the sun will rise. But he says there's another kind of faith, rare indeed, and it is the kind of faith that causes things to happen. Says it is worthy and unyielding, and it calls forth things that otherwise would not be. It moves people, it sometimes moves things, directed and channeled. It has great effect. And again, I summarized that quote, but you can look it up. So that is what we talk about, is this rare kind of faith that causes things to happen. And it comes from just some personal experiences that my husband and I had from our early years, how much we struggled. Our struggles were around money at the time. These principles applied to anything. We discovered them when we were needing some help with our money situation, and it gave us an understanding on how to live trusting in God with a kind of faith that opens doors to the blessings He already wants to give us. So I've told and retold that story many times. I'm not going to do that here. But as we have gone through and seen these principles applied to so many other areas of life, in our relationships, in our health, I used it in my fight with cancer. There have been so many applications to it. And it's just such an important topic to be aware of and to talk about. And it's super powerful when you can get to be in a community of people who are talking about it together. Because if these are true principles, then you can see how it's helping this person in their situation and this other person in their situation, and they're universal in nature. So the more you talk with people about what's going on in their lives and how they're applying the principles and what's happening as they do, it just really builds your own confidence that it can make a difference for you as well. So what I'm showing you here on the screen is the Rare Faith Learning Path. You know, we've been doing this for 25 years now. Our first big breakthrough and awareness of the principles was around the year 2000. And since then, I wrote the books and I started creating courses. And each time I thought I was creating, okay, this is the course that says it all. And then after finishing it, life took us through new experiences and I learned new things. And I'm like, oh, it wasn't complete. There is so much more to share. There's so much more to talk about, so many other layers. And it's just so expansive all the time that I thought, well, okay, I'll do this other course to say the rest. And then I'd get to the end of that one. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just learned new things and those didn't say it yet. So I got to write this new course. I never set out to write 12 programs or whatever it is I have now. But in the recent months and years, we've gathered them into this school of life mastery. And so here on the Rare Faith Learning Path, we've also organized it in a recommended sequence. And a lot of that comes from how the learning came to me, like in what order I learned these things. But in reality, the courses and the principles can be learned in any order, can be taken in any order. But here's the recommendation. So we have these broken up into levels. Level 1, we call it the trailhead. Life is an adventure. And it just seemed appropriate to pick icons and symbols that help us remember we're learning and growing because life is an adventure. And yes, sometimes the things that we experience feel hard and feel imprisoning and feel stifling, but it's just part of the adventure. And so keeping that perspective can be helpful. So in level 1, the trailhead, this is the foundation and orientation. It's where we get your bearings with core rare faith principles, and gives you an opportunity to do some simple experiments that show you the journey ahead. The courses included in level 1 trailhead they're indicated by this compass. So you have the compass at the beginning of the trailhead, and this path is going to lead you to some great heights. But the courses included here are the mindset quotient test. That's not a course, but it kind of is. It's just a test that you can go take and learn something about yourself, where you're at, and what there might be available to you to discover. That's 0. That's something, it's free. You can just go experiment with yourself. Number 1 is the mindset quotient test, the full version. It's an extended version. Instead of, I think, 10 or 20 questions, it has a full 50 or 60 questions, and it gives you a full analysis at the end. That is really informative. And I'll do another video sometime on the mindset quotient and the results and the grid that explains where you're at and what it all means, but we won't do that right now. Next on the list is the Rare Faith Foundations. Rare Faith Foundations is great for just kind of stepping back and realizing, wait a minute, wow, there is really something here. And I can relate to this, and I've experienced that. And it kind of gives you your bearings. Mindset Fundamentals is the first e-course that I created. It's based on the books Jackrabbit Factor and Hidden Treasures. Kind of goes into an additional 20 lessons around the things that you learn in those. And that one's really an entry point for most people. See, Rare Faith Foundations itself is a free course. We do have guided versions of Rare Faith Foundations. We have facilitators who take that course and speak about a certain niche in those principles. Like we have somebody who teaches Rare Faith Foundations in the context of health and wellness. We have someone who does it in the context of parenting and mental wellness. And there's just a lot of different angles that you can take that in, or you can take it independently. So here on the trailhead, this mindset quotient test basic is free. The full analysis has a fee, and that's optional. Rare Faith Foundations is also free unless you decide to take it with a facilitator in a small coaching group. I think it's 6 weeks that you can go through that with a coach. That's optional, or you can just do it on your own. Mindset Fundamentals is, I think, only $37. Sometimes you might find it on sale, but that one is a really great introduction to the principles. If you've read the books are all free. Jackrabbit Factor is free. Hidden Treasures is free. Portal to Genius is free. Those give you a great foundation. Mindset Fundamentals takes it just to a little bit deeper level, and that is a great place to start if you haven't taken that yet. On level 2, we call that base camp, because we're taking a journey upward, and base camp is where we gain some tools. We gather strength and support. It's where we strengthen our spiritual muscles and practice the laws deliberately. We're not just learning, we're starting to apply. This is where the learning becomes training. And so the courses in this section is the Hidden Treasures Deep Dive. That is a powerful, powerful course that takes the things that you've read in Hidden Treasures and expounds on them, helps you understand them more deeply. Same thing with the Portal to Genius Deep Dive. In each of these classes, additional content, additional training, additional videos, and lesson material is brought in to support the things that you're learning in the books. The books are a surface level, and these courses go deeper. Genius Bootcamp. Genius Bootcamp, number 6 here. That is probably one of my favorites. Genius Bootcamp is where you bring a problem that you need to solve. And it's where you use the principles and you're guided through a process that gets your mind ready to receive the spark of inspiration that you need to know what to do with that problem. And we have had incredible stories come out of this experience, the Genius Bootcamp experience. It's memorable and it is like a boot camp. Normally, it's a 3-day in person experience. But because of COVID, we were able to turn it into an online format. So we do have both. Both are available. But online, you can take it by yourself, independent study, or you can take it with a guide. I also run boot camps online. And so those, I only do it about once every 3 years, but we have facilitators that are doing them a lot more regularly. Genius Bootcamp. So if you have a very, very difficult problem to solve, you're going to come away from that with the tools and the empowerment and the understanding that you know exactly what to do next. And then step by step, you watch the evolution and the process unfold to where you start steering your outcomes better than maybe you've ever experienced before. So level 3 is the summit. It's where you experience more consistent breakthroughs. You see patterns more clearly and you operate from a higher, more intentional vantage point. The courses in this level include Operating in God's Economy. Operating in God's Economy was created by Dr. Carrie Skrdla. She is a wealth of information around this topic because of the way she was raised and the experiences she had growing up with a father who was a minister. She herself became a minister at one time before she converted to the church I belong to. And she just understands how the history and God's dealings with his children and how the economy of God is supposed to work. There are two economies. There is God's economy and there is man's economy. And we are raised in a culture and an environment that is competitive, that is around limited resources, is around survival of the fittest, all of these very natural man perspectives and angles on how to get by and how to get what you need can be really exhausting and discouraging. But operating in God's economy, if you think about it, heaven is there for us. And the earth and all of its creation was designed to multiply itself. Every apple contains the seed that contains the potential of thousands and more other apples. And so to be in this creation and to operate in God's economy means that there is greater abundance, and the principles that we live by in rare faith allow us to participate in that side of things. And it helps us have more peace of mind. It helps us have more confidence in our future. It helps us have more trust in his provision. You think about the 5 loaves and fishes and how the math doesn't math, but it doesn't have to. So in God's economy, it doesn't have to make sense on paper for us to get what we need. So that's Operating in God's Economy. Mindset Mastery. This was the flagship course, and it is the flagship course for the School of Life Mastery. It was the very first in-depth program that I created. It was a 12-week program at the time. It's now 16 weeks, but it walks you through 2 experiments. Phase 1 is where you start to very intentionally set goals and objectives that to which you apply the principles. And in the way you're instructed to document it, you start to see a pattern and a direct connection between the things you think and what shows up. And phase 1, you're doing that playfully just to get used to seeing a connection. And then once you see it and once you experience it and once you realize, oh my word, the way I think actually does have a very direct and real impact on my environment and what people say to me and what happens over here and what resources are available. When you see that and you experience that, then we move into phase 2 and you apply it to a specific goal of your choosing. That confidence, you bring it to your phase 2 meaningful, longer term goal. And so with that process, you learn a pattern that you can take and repeat over and over throughout your life to achieve everything that matters to you. We have people take Mindset Mastery multiple times because once they're done, they're like, okay, I'm ready to do that process again for this new thing. And they level up. And it's a powerful program. That's Mindset Mastery. The next one is You Were Born Rich, number 9. You Were Born Rich is a program written by Bob Proctor. This was one of the first trainings that we did with him early on that helped us have our breakthrough. It's amazing. It's where you learn more about the stick man in the original form from which I learned it. But what we do in the School of Life Mastery is we walk you through it and we do it together. And we have these discussions, and the mentoring and the coaching that goes on in our groups is powerful. And so there's that. Level 4 is the airborne level. If you think about it, you're going from the trailhead to the base camp where you're gathering tools to you reach the summit, but you're not done. After the summit is to go airborne. And this is where you experience greater mentorship, tap into your purpose. You take these principles that you've learned and you start to really turn your focus towards, to what end was I meant to learn these things? What would God have me do with it? How can I help someone else with what I've learned? It's where you rise above patterns. You gain lift via higher principles and steward your life from an elevated, spirit-led perspective. The courses in this level are Miracles Made Simple. Miracles Made Simple is a course that I had been planning on creating, and I had set aside January 2023 to finish it out, where I was collecting together a whole wealth of stories and experiences of our students that we've gathered over the years, miracles that they've experienced, modern miracles, as they've applied these principles and they've opened themselves up to be more receptive to what God has for them. And those stories being shared, I started noticing a pattern that of the principles that we teach in these courses, you could list, I think Portal to Genius alone has about 119 principles, or 137. I can't remember the number. But to enumerate them, there are hundreds of principles. At the very least, you can probably point to 20. All right. But there are hundreds of principles, little minor tweaks in how we respond to things, how we think about things, how we discern, how we choose, how we direct, how we decide, all these little tweaks that happen. And through the Miracles Made Simple program, I created a kind of like a catalog of these stories. And then as a class, we go through and we check and we look for which of the principles were evident in each of those stories. And through that process, you start to pay attention to which ones really matter most. Some are supportive principles. Some are tools that help us live this other higher principle. But at the core, there are very few things that really, really matter in order to open ourselves up to receiving heaven's provision. You know, Jesus summed it up when he said, "Fear not." But if that's all we have, sometimes our brains just don't really know what to do with that, or how to apply it, or how to have confidence that what we're doing by fearing not is enough. Will it still work? Well, there's so much that help us understand why we can fear not and how to actually live that way. Miracles Made Simple is that exploration. But here's what's interesting is I had set aside January of 2023 as the month where I was going to finish the program, because I had a class starting at the end of that month. Well, middle of the month, I went to the hospital, and that's when they found my tumor, colon cancer. It was stage 3C, and it was very serious, and they needed to operate right away. And so as I'm going through this, I'm thinking, I was going to sit down and finish writing Miracles Made Simple. And I had to make a decision. Either I was going to cancel the program because I was going to be starting chemo soon, and I just didn't know how capable I was going to be to show up. I had 2 classes lined up that I was going to be teaching on this material that I was still writing the program for. And I thought either I'm going to need to cancel, or maybe I use this opportunity to let the students in on watching me apply what I'm teaching and learning to what I'm experiencing through this. And I decided to proceed. And so that's Miracles Made Simple. Activating Unseen Help. This one I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about in just a minute, because I am starting an Activating Unseen Help group here in May coming up. Each of these classes, I only teach once every 3 years. I'm on a 3-year cycle. I'm just going through them, and facilitators are doing them more often. The last one is Achieving the Impossible. That is the Apex course. It's a year-long program. My facilitators don't teach that one. That is something that I just do myself. And it is where you bring your lofty ideal, and we go through several experiences through the year, and experiments and training and units and segments that take on a different aspect of what it takes to experience results from seemingly impossible objectives. And there is a video, I may link to it, in the comments, there's a video that kind of explains what it's like to be a part of that program. That's Achieving the Impossible. Now, on this page right now, this is just the Programs and Pathways overview. So you can kind of see where everything lands. Again, courses may be taken in any order. I've had people jump straight into Achieving the Impossible who have never done any of the others. I do strongly recommend completing Mindset Mastery before joining Achieving the Impossible. It's not a hard, fast rule. We do make exceptions, but that is my recommendation. However, it's also something you can do simultaneously. So if you wanted to jump in on one of the airborne courses, but you haven't had Mindset Mastery, if you join me in Founders Odyssey, and I'm going to talk to you about that in just a second, you are going to actually get access to all of this level, all of the courses, all of the resources from level 1, 2, 3, and 4 immediately. So you get immediate access to that. It's just that our weekly meetings are going to be focused on the one course. So if you want to learn more about any of those courses, you can click here to view all the course details and register for each one a la carte. But I'll tell you right now, that is the more expensive way to go. Every one of those courses a la carte are more expensive than if you were to get in on one of our low-cost monthly plans. So let's look at this real quick. I'm going to shrink this page a little. There we go. So 3 ways to take in these courses. Solo Journey. This is the independent study track. It's self-paced learning for motivated achievers, and it's $87 a month. Depending on when you watch this video, these prices are subject to change, but at the time I am recording it, these are the prices. $87 a month. It's independent study. It's our most affordable way to travel that rare faith journey. So you get immediate access to all courses in levels 1, 2, and 3. It is the most flexible because you can start anytime and jump around into any of the courses at any time. And you get to mark your lessons complete and you'll watch your progress through each. It is 30% less per week than purchasing the courses one at a time when you take it on in the solo journey. And this is based on the fact that each course has an expected duration. It's like how much time we allot for when we are running a guided group through that course. I mean, it would have been nice and tidy if they were all 8 weeks, but they're not, because I didn't know I was creating a whole course library for a school when I was writing them. Some of them are 6 weeks, some of them are 8 weeks. We have a 12-week, we have a 16-week, we have a 36-week. That's Activating Unseen Help. One starting in May is, I think, 36 weeks. And Achieving the Impossible is a full 52 weeks. So based on the expected duration of a course, we priced it out. And that's how we came up with these numbers, that Solo Journey is 30% less per week than purchasing courses one at a time, if you were to stay on the solo journey long enough to get through all of the courses at that rate. But keep in mind that when you are on this monthly plan, you can go as fast as you want. You could blow through them all and cancel when you're done and get it for even less. So there is that option. I realized people need some flexibility, and I am confident that when you're in these programs and you're going through the classes, you're going to see how it's helping you, how it's keeping you on track, how it's keeping you in the groove and in faith and seeing better outcomes. The next one I'll talk about is the guided expedition level. You'll see these little icons on checkout pages. The solo journey is represented by a little lantern. Guided expedition is signified by a campfire, and then the premium coaching is a lighthouse. But for guided expedition, you get live support, weekly meetings with your facilitator. You get structure. You're walked through each lesson. You have assignments and you know exactly what to do before the next meeting. And you feel that community and momentum. So that's $297 a month. It's weekly guidance, support, connection with structure, and celebrated wins. When you register for guided expedition, you get immediate access to all the courses in levels 1 through 3. So that's all of these: Trailhead, Base Camp, and Summit. That's for both Solo Journey and Guided Expedition. You get regular sessions with an expert guide. You get the community and accountability. You get weekly forum membership. That's an extra meeting every Thursday. We have facilitators that take turns. Monica runs most of them, but we have facilitators that take turns running that weekly Q&A, where you come together and you talk about what you're learning. And what's really awesome about the weekly forum is that you get people coming from all these different classes They're all in these different classes coming together on Thursdays to talk about what they're learning. So there's a lot of cross wisdom being shared. And it's a really, really great way to develop friendships, be around like-minded people. They say that you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you want to be around people who are really striving to live these principles. It makes it easier for you to do the same. This guided expedition is really the best fit for most students because people who join Solo Journey, not everybody is self-motivated enough to show up and do their lessons. And I mean, I think you'll find the information interesting enough that you'll be looking forward to doing the next lesson. But if you need somebody to keep you accountable, guided expedition, a lot of people upgrade to guided expedition when they realize, you know what, I want to talk about what I'm learning. I want to hear people sharing their experience with this thing I just read about. I want to know how it's working for someone in my situation. And so guided expedition is a great place to do that. It works out to be 22% less per week than purchasing the courses one at a time. And then there's Founders Odyssey. That is with me. I was the co-founder of the School of Life Mastery with my husband. I'm the one that wrote most of these programs. And if you join my group, oftentimes there is a different level of conversation that goes on in Founders Odyssey. You've got people who are extra committed, extra dedicated and connected and hungry. And there's a really special feeling that happens here in Founders Odyssey. It's $7.97 a month. It is transformative group discussions with me for our most serious students. It's not for everybody, but this is the group where you will get immediate access to all of the courses in levels 1 through 4. So you'll get all of this, but you'll also get these 3 over here. Now, the way this works is if you join Guided Expedition or Founders Odyssey, as soon as you register, you get immediate access to all of those courses. And so you can start poking around and learning and setting your goals and moving along. And then the next class on the track for that facilitator that you're with, or for me, you automatically move into that group. And so you can either pay for a class with me or a facilitator, just a one-off class, or you can get in on this. It's cheaper. You get more for less money. You get immediate access to all of the courses. And then as soon as our next class begins, you're automatically included in that. And when that class ends, as long as you're still subscribed, you automatically move into the next one. We have students that jump in, maybe they jump in on number 6 and they stick around until they've taken it all in. Or maybe they've jumped in on number 9 and they're just letting their subscription roll them into the next class until they've done them all. And it's a powerful thing to watch people's lives transform as they take this information in. So it's advanced study. There's deeper mentoring that goes on here, and it's 13% less per week than taking the courses one at a time. So that is about the Rare Faith Learning Path. Now, I want to talk to you about Founders Odyssey, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. So I guess if I had come down here and I'd clicked on get started, it'd take me to this page. Take the journey of a lifetime, proven faith-based success principles, weekly mentoring, and a supportive small group community for lasting transformation. So here's where you can join the Founders Odyssey at $7.97 a month. If you only want to join my next class, you can click here. And I'll talk to you about what that is. Founders Odyssey. An odyssey, why is it called that? Well, an odyssey is a series of adventures that expand your knowledge and deepen your understanding. What if you could experience one from the comfort of your own home? That's what we're doing. For over 20 years, I've helped students worldwide apply Rare Faith principles for real transformation. In Founders Odyssey, I'll personally mentor you through a proven path of growth and discovery. Maybe you already know what to do, but if you found yourself going in circles, hitting the same frustrations or disappointments again and again, this is where real change begins. Together, we'll uncover untruths that keep you stuck and discover keys that open the way forward. So, Founders Odyssey is a powerful process where I coach you through 9 life-changing courses. Now, this page talked about there being 12. There's 12 levels. These first 4 are more independent study, unless you do the Rare Faith Foundations with a facilitator. And so these you'll get access to these as part of Founders Odyssey, but as an instructor, I only take you through 4 through 12. So each building on the last, designed to expand possibility, unlock miracles, and create lasting transformation. The next course on the Founders Odyssey track starts soon. So this image jumps down. Every time we start a new path, this image gets updated. So the next one shows up at the bottom. But we're starting Activating Unseen Help May 27th, 2026. That is my schedule. If you sign up early, then you get immediate access to all the 9 courses listed below, plus weekly forum membership until my class begins. So you'll get to be meeting with a facilitator every Thursday. It's optional, but that's there for you until class begins. Here is the program overview and start dates. I'm just going to read this one. The rest of them, you can go to the website. It's schooloflifemastery.com/founders-odyssey. But Activating Unseen Help. What is this unseen help, and what is the catalyst for activating it? In this course, you'll learn how to properly invite and rely on divine assistance to align every detail of your journey. Doors open, resources appear, and the right people show up exactly when needed, equipping you to take the next right step at the perfect time by law. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. All right. So once you're in Activating Unseen Help, there's these modules. I'll show you those in a minute, but I just want to point out the purpose of Activating Unseen Help. It says, as I've helped tens of thousands of people since 2000, one of the most common problems occurs when students launch full force into their goal-setting efforts with only a partial understanding of the principles. Inevitably, those efforts lead to frustration and failure. Too often, people experience disappointment and give up before really understanding why it didn't work out the way they hoped. That's why I created this program, Activating Unseen Help, to get you in the right headspace before taking the leap and to help you understand how to employ and trust what I call unseen help along the way. The fact is, 2 people can do the exact same things, but the one who is consciously aware of the principles will get better results. Your thoughts have an effect on your success, and your confidence only increases once you are convinced that you're not alone in your efforts. So I want to help you get your thoughts in gear. As you internalize the ideas I'll share in this course, I'm confident that you'll begin to understand how people who have been admired throughout history were able to achieve seemingly impossible things by following a series of universal principles and employing the power of unseen help, whether they were aware of it or not. So now let's talk about the units. This is a 36-week course, and so it's broken up into these 6 parts. Part 1, there is unseen help. This unit helps you gain the confidence that there is really this help available to you. Part 2 is how to receive it. Part 3 is how to activate it. Part 4 is what to activate it for. And part 5 is establishing the ideas and the principles you need to know on how to trust and conquer the challenges that come along. So that is the overview on Activating Unseen Help. There's 139 lessons. So like I said, it takes the ideas from Mindset Fundamentals and expounds on them. And you can see how much more there is here in this course. So that's Activating Unseen Help. And the best way to get that is through Founders Odyssey. Every great journey begins with one step. Yours can begin now. Will you join me? Facilitators only. Join Founders Odyssey for leaders here. So if you are one of our facilitators, or if you are a facilitator in training, you can join Founders Odyssey at a discount. That's what that is. So what students are saying, you know what, I'm not going to take time to read all these. I'll just read Jolene's down here. I love this so much. We have seen countless miracles after applying these principles. I'm still amazed at how quickly God wants to bless us with the righteous desires of our hearts. It is all in God's timing. Some miracles have shown up immediately and others we've had to wait for. But I love these reminders of how easy it can be when you use the principles. Tyson Bradley said, listen, if you are ready to dedicate the next year of your life to living on a new level of thinking and being, then this is for you. If you want to accomplish what seems impossible to you, then this is for you. If you are super scared and wondering if it's worth the money, then this is for you. Believe that if you feel inspired to join this program, that God will provide a way to make it happen. He was one of our students in Achieving the Impossible. So every Odyssey changes the traveler. Step onto the path where growth, accountability, and divine timing converge. This is your chance to experience transformation that lasts a lifetime. It's a journey where you'll conquer obstacles, discover genius ideas, and learn how to experience miracles in real time. With the Founders, your coach, you won't walk the path alone. So if you don't want to join the full Founders Odyssey again, you can join the next class only. Activating Unseen Help starts May 27th, 2026. Secure your spot. Now, here's something that's interesting. The class by itself is $9,097. I know that sounds like a lot. It's 36 weeks. And so again, if you work it out, you're better off doing the subscription. It's cheaper per month and you get all the other 9 courses. The other option is if you only want Activating Unseen Help with me, you can make a 10% deposit. You'll get lifetime course access. It locks your seat at today's rate in case it changes. And you can cancel the balance up to 30 days before class starts. So basically, this is how you can get Activating Unseen Help independent study. It is not available independent study otherwise, but this is kind of a little hack that people can use. Make a deposit, you reserve your spot in my class. You can start the lessons right away. And then 30 days before class starts, you can say, you know what, I'm good. I just wanted to do this on my own anyway, and you can bounce. If you want to continue with me, you can finish the payment on that program or get it and immediate access to all the other 8 premium programs for less. And that's that. So Dawn says the results have been nothing short of awe-inspiring. I took a puny real estate income and turned it into 6 figures. My life has been forever changed and blessed. So that is Founders Odyssey. The last thing I want to point out is Activating Unseen Help is an expansion of Mindset Fundamentals. So if you remember on this learning path, Mindset Fundamentals was right here. It's about $37. Activating Unseen Help is where we take Mindset Fundamentals and really dive in and pick it apart and go deep for 36 weeks. It's kind of hard to believe sometimes that you can take a $37 course that you can probably have done in a few days and turn it into a 36-week conversation. But that's how much there is underneath all of this. And it's so much fun to talk about these principles because it just makes life feel possible and doable, and challenges show up and you don't freak out anymore because you know what's going on and you can experience better results by responding properly. So what Mindset Fundamentals, I want to talk about that because if Activating Unseen Help is not something you're ready for, you might want to just start with Mindset Fundamentals. What are the laws and principles that govern our faith outcomes? It includes the Jacobit Factor and Hidden Treasures, which you can get even outside of this. These are included in the course just because we're talking about them there. But then you've got the 20 structured online lessons that walk you step by step through understanding and applying the laws. By the end, you're going to believe more than ever that faith really works, and you're going to understand why. The cool thing about Mindset Fundamentals, if you have family or friends, there's this guarantee. If you try it for 60 days, if it's not helpful or aligned with your beliefs, I'm going to refund you, no questions asked. Yeah, it's $37. If you come to this page right now, we have a special going on for $27 using the code ALIGN. So there's that. Finally, the last thing I want to let you know about is I mentioned I've got those 3 books, but I'm also writing a new book. If you haven't heard, I'm calling it Rare Faith. It used to be called Rare Faith, the kind of faith that causes things to happen, but now I've simplified it. It's Rare Faith Moving Mountains. And why did I feel the need to write a 4th book? I wasn't planning on writing another book. Wasn't really interested in doing that. But it has been on my heart to bring together an understanding of how does rare faith differ from the other law of attraction teachings out there, or how does this fit into a biblical worldview? How does this fit my own faith tradition? Where do they diverge? What is the difference? And why does it matter that we understand and know that? How important is it that we are able to distinguish whether an idea or a concept fits in rare faith or if it doesn't fit in the rare faith version of these mindset principles? So that's what this book is. I do have a couple of chapters ready. That's what this is. This is an excerpt. So if you come to rarefaith.org, you're going to find this form where you can get an early release excerpt from the book by the same name. And then you'll also be on the notification list to let you know when the rest of the book is done. So that's a lot. As you can see, this is why I needed to do a video. It's a lot to talk about, big updates, and I just wanted to make sure you didn't miss any of it. So if you have any questions, reach out on this page, rarefaith.org. Also, go make sure at the bottom here that you are subscribed. Make sure you get the Rare Faith newsletter, because this is where you're going to be kept up to date on everything that's happening. And I don't always get a video out like this. In fact, I never get a video out like this. This is kind of new for me. I might try to do that more now, but make sure you're on the newsletter so that I can help you keep your head in the game through the hard times and keep you reminded of the principles that will allow you to not be the limiting factor in what heaven can do for you, and to make sure that you are preparing yourself for the best possible outcome. All this or something better, as we say. And so that is all for now. I'm going to just stop my screen, and I hope to see you in class. I would love to get to know you better. I'd love to know what you're working on and what you're facing and how I can be of service. If you're watching this and just really want to be a part of something, but you can't see a way to do it, if it feels like it's beyond reach, we have a program for that. And so I'm just inviting you to reach out, get on the newsletter, respond to one of those emails and say, hey, I want to talk to somebody about how I can do some of this, because there's always a way. That is part of our faith, is believing that there is always a way. And that is something that we as a company really believe in, and a community. That is something we believe in. This is not out of reach for anybody. And I'll tell you that right now. So get on a call with us. We'll help brainstorm with you, and we'll show you perhaps some hidden resources that you might not be thinking of to help you do that. All right. So anyway, that's all. Have a great day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.